Committee of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, along with the Direct Selling Committee of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The objective of this webinar is to actually put on the forefront the issues, results, as well as initiatives for empowering women through entrepreneurship development. And one such great exercise is being done by the direct selling industry, which we see all across. And we have experts as panelists, as well as from our expert committees, to throw light on that. Without much ado, I'd like to now invite our president, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, to kindly give his presidential remarks and welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. On behalf of the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it is my pleasure to welcome Ms. Nidhi Khare, Additional Secretary, Consumer Affairs, Government of India, to this very important webinar on entrepreneurship development and skilling for empowered women, COVID and post-COVID landscape. I would also like to welcome Mr. Rajni Agarwal, Dr. Rajni Agarwal, President of the Indian Women Federation of Indian Women Entrepreneurs, Dr. Alka Kaul, Director, Horizon Industries, Ms. Alpana Deb from Vestige, Ms. Susmita Agarwal from Agarwal Hotels, Mr. Gautam Bali from Vestige Marketing and Chair of our Direct Marketing Committee, Mr. Jayant Krishna, Group CEO UK IBC and Chair Skill and Entrepreneurship Development Committee of the Chamber, Mr. Ajay Khanna, Vice President Herbalife International and Co-Chair Skill and Entrepreneurship Development Committee, Mr. Atul P. Anand, Director Kwaspuria Advisory and Co-Chair of the Skill and Entrepreneurship Development Committee, and Ms. Kadambari, Managing Director UCODE and Co-Chair Skill and Entrepreneurship Development Committee PSGCCI. As also our ASG, Mr. Ritik Sehgal, and our Secretary General, who has also found time, along with our Senior Vice President, Mr. Pradeep Multani, who have all deemed it fit to join today to take part in this very important program. So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you and the esteemed delegates from the industry and from the skilling ecosystem. We are really delighted to welcome such an august gathering today, all very well known and very stalwarts of this whole field, who have today agreed to sit and discuss the various issues regarding the empowerment of and skilling of women in these very challenging times. As our ASG mentioned, we are in a very difficult time. The whole world's gaze is today fixed on India as to how we are able to cope up with this landslide, with this terrible tsunami, as it is being called, of the COVID pandemic. But as it is, very well said, this too shall pass. I'm very sure that these times too shall pass. The peak should not be too far away from being reached. And once we reach the peak of the pandemic, I think the only way thereafter is to see more and more improvements. And that is what we are all hoping for. As a nation, we have shown our resilience throughout the centuries. We have shown our resilience in the last 1 year of the pandemic. We have in face of all adversities. So I'm very sure that we as a people will stand up to this challenge and successfully fight with this scourge. We have to continue living our lives. We have to continue to plan our actions. We have to continue to do whatever is needed to keep the country going and moving towards the future that we wish our country to reach. And this program is also, of course, just one part of that same exercise. While we are all very much disturbed and we are facing these challenges, but at the same time, we must get on with our lives and we must get on with the more mundane affairs of life and the challenges of routine life also. Uh, I'm I'm very sure that with all the efforts being made by the government and the frontline warriors who are undauntedly working towards containing the spread of COVID and treating such a large number of suffering people, we will all hopefully have a positive result uh, within a short period of time, hopefully within a week or 2 weeks. We all must extend our solidarity, of course, with the central government and the state governments and all the COVID warriors of the health sector, all the people fighting against the pandemic directly and indirectly. A few words about our PSD chamber. The PSD Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been working as a catalyst for the promotion of Indian industry, trade, and entrepreneurship for the past 115 years. We are a forward-looking, proactive, and dynamic pan-India apex organization. As a partner in progress with industry and government, the PSD Chamber, with a special focus on Indian MSMEs, works at the grassroots level with strong national and international linkages for propelling progress, harmony, and integrated development of the Indian economy. We have a vibrant skill and direct marketing committee at the PSD Chamber to drive the agenda of the industry growth dedicatedly in these sectors and addressing the industry issues from time to time. India today has more than a million women-owned enterprises, representing 20% of all enterprises. While large in numbers, these are overwhelmingly comprised of single-person enterprises, which provide direct employment to an estimated 27 million people. Further, a number of enterprises reported as women-owned are not in fact controlled or run by women. Benchmarks from high-performing countries and Indian states provide a good yardstick for India to accelerate overall female entrepreneurship. Accelerating quantity and quality of entrepreneurship towards such benchmarks can create millions of women-owned enterprises, of which 40% can be more than self-employed. This can generate potentially transformational employment in India to 170 million jobs, which is more than 25% of the new jobs required for the entire working age population from now until 2030. By 2030, the working age population of India will surpass 1 billion, an unprecedented number, and will be the highest ever in the world. It is estimated that up to 400 million jobs are going to be needed for women alone, and without urgent action, the economic and employment gap between men and women will continue to widen. In addition to job creation by private and government sectors, entrepreneurship is a powerful and largely untapped opportunity for working age women in India. By creating jobs, fueling innovation, and further investment in health and education, entrepreneurship among women could transform India's economy and the society. Skilling, on the other hand, is the key to raising women participation in the workforce, which can boost India's GDP. The use of technology, promotion of incubation space, and setting up of upskilling centers would equip and enable women to participate in the ongoing fourth industrial revolution. Through this pandemic, though this pandemic has created tough times for the industry, especially the MSMEs, and hence the budding and thriving entrepreneurs have found it to be an uphill task to survive the economic shutdown. Yet we believe that the Indian people are very enterprising and that they will surely overcome the crisis and will thrive again. Direct selling industry has been contributing significantly to the women entrepreneurship and making it a reliable and consistent livelihood support, especially during these pandemic times, and needs to be encouraged and pushed forward. It is time that we gave it a formal shape, and recognition has also made skilling a focused area for these budding entrepreneurs. There are all very eminent panelists today lined up for this webinar, and we especially look forward to listen to Ms. Nidhi Kareji. It would be really exciting for all of us to listen to their thoughts and visions on the subject. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, President, for those very encouraging and positive remarks, as well as setting the tone for the webinar today, which is of crucial importance to the country, as well as the gender equality, which I think is talked about all across. Time for me to invite our Senior Vice President, Mr. Uh, Mr. Pradeep Multani for his special address. And just a minute before that, if I can thank and welcome Mr. Gautam Bali, our chair of the Direct Selling Committee. Earlier, I guess you were having some issues in joining in, technical issues. Thanks for joining in. Over to you, Senior Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Sehgal. Good morning to all eminent panelists, President, chairs and co-chairs, members of PhD and participants. I would like to welcome Ms. Nidhi Khare, Additional Secretary, Minister of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, other dignitaries and panelists for sparing time and joining us today for this unique dialogue. Women play an important role in development of a family and society. From last few decades, they have been actively participating in various and social activities, but their efforts remain largely unrecognized. Women and empowerment is one of the biggest tools for effective development of any country. It means freedom of women from the vicious circle of social, political, economic, and gender-based discrimination. It is essential for them to be skilled in order to be able to better their families at home as well as professionally. Skill development not only creates employment opportunities, but also empowers them. Direct marketing is a profession which has and is generating huge employment opportunities for women. Vestige Marketing Private Limited, represented by Mr. Gautam Bali, and Herbalife International Private Limited, represented by Mr. Ajay Khanna, are leading direct marketing companies and are highly respected members of our PhD chambers. I am sure they shall guide us on how to empower women. I firmly believe such awareness programs should be organized regularly in order to give skill development to women and to thereby make them stronger to face, accept challenges, and be a step ahead of men in all fields, especially direct marketing. With this, I welcome you all once again and look forward to hearing your views on today's important topic. Thank you, Jai Hind, and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much, Senior Vice President, for that warm welcome and finding time to be able to join us today. May I now request Mr. Gautam Bali, Managing Director, Vestige Marketing Private Limited, and Chair of the Direct Marketing Committee of PhD CCI, to kindly give his theme address. Over to you, Mr. Bali.
Thank you so much. In committee, I would like to once again welcome Nidhi Khare and thank her for giving us her valuable time to address us and listen to the industry, especially the women entrepreneurs. India has more women-owned enterprises than many other countries, with an estimated 3.5 million to 15.7 MSMEs and agribusinesses. A closer look reveals that women-owned enterprises are growing. Over the past decade, women-owned enterprises have increased from 14 to 20%. This is with the help of national and state governments, investors, banks, financial and educational institutions, and most of all, the enterprising female workforce. India still has a large gap compared with peers, and as per Global Entrepreneurship and Development Institute 2015, India performs below the 20th percentile in female entrepreneurship index. It is far below developed markets such as the US and UK, and developing markets such as Brazil, Russia, and Nigeria. Women-owned enterprises in India are largely single-person enterprises. This translates to lower returns and employment. Only 17% of all women-owned enterprises employ hired workers versus 28% for all enterprises. The true entrepreneurship among women is overrepresented in numbers. To provide economic independence to women, enterprises need to be owned, controlled, and run by women. Survey across parts of India suggests that 10 to 30% often are not run by women. Accounting for enterprises disguised as women-owned enterprises, Bain's analysis suggests that the total share of enterprises that are truly owned and run by women is likely to be lower than 20%. In recent years, there has been a clear recognition of women on the national economic agenda, including efforts to promote entrepreneurship. Both public and private entities have launched a wide range of initiatives to provide some impetus to augment this opportunity. These interventions seek to address gender-specific financing challenges, providing skill trainings and mentorship, and build market linkages. With emerging positive outcomes, there is a significant scope for expansion. Women entrepreneurship directly affects income, employment, and capital formation while directly benefiting household-level resource allocation. Supporting women entrepreneurs not only improves their livelihoods, but also create jobs. Skilling is the key to promoting any entrepreneurship venture. In India, skilling among women faces many social and technical challenges in getting skilled. Despite an increasingly educated population, limited access to relevant businesses and technical skills is a major impediment in scaling and tapping the necessary resources. Skilling the women in jobs that need social interaction is one of the best tools to promote skill development among women and at the same time create new entrepreneurs among them. Direct selling is one such industry that needs similar skills and that has been creating thousands of new entrepreneurs every year in India who have the skill and the desire to excel. The Indian direct selling industry has been growing at an exceptional pace over the last few years to become a part of the billion-dollar club of the multi-billion-dollar global direct selling industry. My colleague will be sharing more on direct selling industry in a theme address to highlight the needs and opportunity which exist in this sector. In order to promote women entrepreneurship, some possible support and initiative could make a huge difference, which are ensure stable and transparent legislation and policies that support all entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs in particular, including easy access to publicly available information on starting a business, to ensure that the tax systems foster rather than impede entrepreneurship and growth of startups, empower women by helping them develop skills to build confidence to address cultural norms that may discourage women setting up an enterprise, collect and process up-to-date data, relevant data on women-led MSMEs across all sectors that would allow the development of proper support policies, to ensure that property rights and access to finance, including for equity investment, do not discriminate by gender. We can find support connections among female and male entrepreneurs, including through small business initiatives and connecting large and small businesses. Capacity development, provide opportunity for women to assess training and education programs that improve entrepreneurship and technical skills. To conclude, we would like to reiterate that our firm commitment to promote women entrepreneurship in different industries and sectors to ensure the real growth of the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bali, for highlighting tremendous scope for women entrepreneurship and skilling development. There is tremendous scope out there, and we are firmly committed to do that. Now, time for us to actually get a little more on the perspective of the industry, which is the direct selling industry, which is also a major focus today for the webinar, and for which I'd like to invite Mr. Ajay Khanna, country head of the Life, to kindly share his thoughts on this. Over to you, Mr. Khanna.
Thank you, Vivek ji, and namaskar, and I hope you all are safe and looking after yourself. These are challenging times, but do take care of yourself. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you all on this important subject. But before I do that, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Nidhi Khare, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Thank you, ma'am, for gracing this occasion with your presence, and all the other eminent panelists and speakers who are there on this seminar today. Well, a little bit about Herbalife Nutrition. Who we are. We were founded in 1980, and we create innovative and science-based, backed nutrition products, and we operate in almost about 90 countries. And in India, we are present for almost about 22 years. When we talk about direct selling, the traditional definition of a direct selling company is dynamic and rapidly expanding channel of distribution for the marketing of products and services. It involves product explanation and demonstration of the experience by an independent direct salesperson to the consumer. As a specialized channel of distribution, it covers both business to business and business to consumer aspects. I will go a step further and simplify this method of business into two words: empowerment and enablement. Women choose to become entrepreneurs for various reasons, economic necessity to pursue a commercial idea, be creative, and utilize their time gainfully or pursue a hobby. In every opportunity, they look for ways to upskill, gain knowledge, and adapt. Well, in most cases, women seek opportunity that will help them balance their roles as caregivers and business drivers. Just a little bit of data, according to a February 2020 report released by Google and a management consultant company, a firm, Bain and Company, India had approximately 13.5 to 15.7 million women-owned enterprises, which make up to 20% of all the enterprises in the country. And direct selling provides women the entrepreneurial platform with lesser capital and more flexibility to balance home management, child care, and travel limitations. As per the results of IDSA's annual survey of 2018 and 19, there were over 2.8 million active women direct sellers in India. The number of women direct sellers in India is expected to cross, to have crossed the figure of almost about 4 million in 2019 and 20. The business model, the direct selling business model, has stood the test of time and uncertainty. And during these challenging times, it provides an opportunity to pursue business growth without the constraint of time and space. And this pandemic situation, it's thrown a lot of challenges at us. Post the pandemic, the industry has adapted in a unique manner, and this serves the newfound consumer requirement, a socially distanced yet highly personalized purchasing experience. This is enhanced by virtual trainings, online webinars, innovating technology to close business transactions speedily, and creating a digital touch point while social media. When I talk about virtual training materials, there are how to know videos and promotional contents like flyers and graphics, which empowers the future entrepreneurs by simplifying the process of constructing the business and offering them the best building tools. As my colleagues also said, direct selling in India recorded almost 2.47 billion USD worth of sales in 2019 and created 57 lakh micro entrepreneurs. Of this, the majority were self-employed women. While we await the numbers of 2020, I'm pretty confident that the industry's performance in our country has remained robust despite the challenges in the market. And finally, the direct selling stands stronger today because of its core philosophy of celebrating people. The industry provides the opportunity for individuals to grow as people and leaders, and that isn't widely available in other industries. The personal development coaching that are at the heart of direct selling impact entrepreneurs far beyond what they earn. So there's a great opportunity. There's a great opportunity for the women to be a part of this direct selling industry. With that note, I will say thank you to everybody. Stay safe and look after yourself. Namaskar and Jai Hind. Thank you. Back to you, Ekji.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for actually bringing to the fore the enormous numbers of women entrepreneurs and the self-employed people involved in the direct selling, only highlighting the fact that the major contributor to the economic growth of the country, economic development of the country, and of course, a significant part of the GDP. And I'm sure the Ministry of Consumer Welfare, which is the core ministry for the Direct Selling Committee, will be taking many more such steps to actually further these numbers. Time for me to invite a person who needs no introduction, Mr. Jayant Krishna. He is not only the chair of our Skill Development Committee, he's been at the helm of affairs of NSDC, currently the CEO of UKIBC. So over to you, sir, for your perspective, and we look forward to hearing from you based on your tremendous experience in this area.
Thank you, Vivek. Ms. Nidhi Khare, Mr. Adwal, the President, PhD Chamber of Commerce, all the delegates. India is clearly a country which a lot of contrasts. If you look at today in terms of GDP, we rank as the 5th highest GDP ranking country in the world, which is a matter of great satisfaction, But if you look at some other indicators like, roughly, I'm not an economist, but roughly divide the same GDP by the population of the country, and by way of per capita income, our rank shifts to a painful 142nd, among all countries in the world. If you look at Human Development Index, which largely looks at things like healthcare, quality of life, education, skill development, entrepreneurship, these kind of elements, there our rank has actually slipped from 129th to 131st last year, So I think why and if you really look at the countries which are ranked below our rank, either by way of per capita income or by way of Human Development Index, most of us in this webinar would not even know where those countries exist, on this earth. So that is something which is we as a country have to take cognizance of. And when I was in Skill India Mission as the in two different roles, the Chief Operating Officer and Executive Director and the Chief Executive Officer of National Skill Development Corporation, we often used to debate, that should we have separate job roles for women at all, or women should have access to the same job roles and same job opportunities which are available for men. Because unless we move out from this syndrome that, jobs like some IT-enabled roles, industry roles, or sewing or jam making or pickle making, these are for women. Unless we move away from this mindset and mainstream all job roles, almost all for women, this very issue of gender equality and all, will not be able to address very well. So, our country started with a huge amount of enthusiasm to skill people. When we were there, when I was there in the Skill India Mission, we ensured that entrepreneurship becomes an integral part of whatever job role, the skilling that we do. Even if it's for, let's say, an automated sewing or tailoring kind of a job role, or if it is a beautician's job role, or whatever you do, a certain element of, you can't make them perfect entrepreneurs, but certain basics of entrepreneurs, must be packed into every course, because almost every course gives you an opportunity to be self-employed and become, a woman. This becomes even more important an event because COVID has really devastated the world, not only our economy. Last year we still don't have the final figures, but it is expected. Our economy contracted by about 10%. And this was perhaps all over the world. This was the biggest. The year that went by saw the largest depression, largest fall in number of jobs which are available, since the Great Depression. And in India, never ever the job market showed a negative growth since the reforms of 1991. So I think a lot of good projections, however, were given by our own government as well as by the International Monetary Fund that the growth in the current financial year will touch double digits. But unfortunately, this wave 2 has really come, as the president said, as a tsunami, and it's a huge. So if you look at our own business landscape, between 15 to 17, 18% of all businesses, which run into almost 5-6 crore in the country, are actually owned by women. They are half our population. We all know, and my own experience in life has been there. Surely women form better workers, more self-motivated. They bring far more commitment on the table than men. And I have no hesitation to admit that. A lot of roles naturally come to them. Networking, for example, which is so integral to the direct marketing that we are largely addressing today, comes very naturally to women. With a very, very little training. In general, I have seen women have better communication skills than men. In general, and again, being a man, I have no hesitation to admit that. So I think these are simple things. In direct marketing, you also have to look at your own inventory. Women are, they have this inborn ability to do inventory management. Be it in the kitchen, be it in the, or even in the enterprise that they run. So I think these throw open fantastic opportunities. Whole problem in our country is that almost 93% of our workforce is in unorganized and informal sector, and also just about 5% of our overall workforce went through any proper skill development or entrepreneurship program. Many of them learned the natural way. But, in direct marketing, because it is led by individual companies, and I'm so happy that they have such an organized training and development module and the basics of entrepreneurship, at least the knowledge that they need to run their independent businesses is so nicely packaged and developed. Those programs are actually developed by the best of breed training professionals, and therefore it addresses that gap that we have had as a country, that a lot of people are not formally skilled, but get acquire skills despite having started their careers or professions without a formal skilling, but they acquire as they go down the line. So I think today there's a lot of new things which have happened in the country. We have a national skills qualification framework, which ensures that any time, even if you are going for direct marketing, but truly speaking, you can even, if you have that kind of a academic interest beyond the business, you can, if you have an aspiration, you can even do PhD in that subject. So I think, there are progression models available under National Skills Qualification Framework. At any point of time, if you want to migrate to the mainstream education from this skills category, you could do that. So I think it's a huge thing. Today technology has become, a great leveler. And, we have seen how women and men all have actually graduated to working from home in a large number of job roles, if not all. In India, we used to see that when I was with the Tata Group, I always saw that, especially in tech company like TCS, we always saw that almost 35 to 40% of the new entrants are women. But if you look at it, the board, till the time they reach the board position, a lot of them used to fall by the side because you can't blame them because they have family responsibilities, whatever you may like, but upbringing of children is generally left more on women than on the husbands in our country. But today, this flexible model of working from home gives a lot of opportunity to women to come back and take ownership of their careers and even direct marketing, because much of the direct marketing work can actually happen from home itself. So I see there are a whole lot of opportunities, and by empowering our women to take up direct marketing and other professions, would actually, some economists had done some computation that if you are able to handle this challenge of bringing, women in the mainstream of the country's economy through skilling, through entrepreneurship program, and very, very encouraging and successful interventions like direct marketing, where they take, they become owner of small businesses, and those small businesses may actually not remain small if they do well. Their fortunes, if we are able to do that, the GDP of the country will actually get benefited by 2 to 3% if we are able to have as many women as a part of our workforce, as a part of the business community as men. So we are sitting on a gold mine actually, and it is everybody's job to encourage women and use entrepreneurship opportunities, and there's nothing like direct marketing, as I said earlier, because of a lot of skills and personality traits that women very naturally possess, with the less amount of incremental training. So I'll stop there, and I look forward to a very useful, the webinar PhD Chamber of Commerce has organized. And, we have to be believers. I fundamentally believe that, we have women, we have to be believers that women can change the face of our country, the future of our country, perhaps more than what men can do, if we are able to mainstream them and give them career pathways, business pathways, if we are able to create for them. They can change the country for good. A lot of social evils that the country suffers from, many of them will disappear if women are empowered through direct marketing opportunities and professions. So I'll stop there. Otherwise, I can go on for the rest of the time. But it's such an interesting subject, and there's a lot that one has to hear from such a nice panel of experts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna. I think you've put a big smile on the faces of the ladies here by openly acknowledging that yes, of course they are, and definitely better managers, not only at home but even at work. And of course, the 2% figure which you talked about, the GDP growth which can come in, if we could have actually as many women participating in the economic story. Time for me to invite Nasir to kindly go through the rest of the speakers, panelists which we have. I believe Mrs. Agarwal is supposed to join in a little late, so if she does join in time, please have her invite her also for her talk. Over to you, Nasir, from here on, and I'll come back with you soon.
Thank you, sir, and thank you once again. We already have heard our president, our senior vice president, our chairs and co-chairs on the perspective of the women entrepreneurship and how women entrepreneurship and skilling has been shaping the Indian and changing the Indian economy, and the way we work and the way we see the developments will come in the future decade. Now it's the time to hear right away from the women entrepreneurs themselves. And I think we would like to invite Dr. Alka Kaul. She is the director from the Horizon Industries Product Limited, to share her thoughts on how has been the journey to success and what she has faced and how has she excelled in this field as a women entrepreneur. Dr. Alka Kaul, over to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, I would sound very contorted. I actually have a friendly neighbor, Karuna, so, but I had promised to be here today. Um, actually, I appreciate what I heard, and I think females would like that acknowledgement. I don't think we want to be better than men. We just want to have our own space and our own um, acknowledgement in the society. And I really appreciate the females who are homemakers, purely homemakers. My mother was one, and I don't think I find it a very difficult job. It's much difficult than actually running your own organization because there's a structure there. Uh, but having said this, uh, I heard everybody saying that we need to bring them, we need to skill them. I keep saying on such platforms that why are we not going down to the schools and teaching gender unbiasedness from, from the grassroots? Because by the time people come out in our society, even now, be urban or rural, a family wants a son because they are the ones who carry the lineage forward. So the fact is, it's not just the business. Our society structure stands on the fact आपने लड़का नहीं दिया तो the problem must be with you. Like there's a small things you might say, what has got it to do with the entrepreneurship? But then the fact is, this is what happens in the house, even in an educated household. A woman is supposed to be you need to get educated, because education, you need to stand on your own 2 feet, but then get married, have kids, and then do what you want to do. So the fact remains is that our primary motive is to you know uh, take the human race forward. And second is, I'm sorry, maybe many people might find it's not true, but it is true at the grassroots level, behind the closed doors. It happens. I see it. And I have lost few of my great engineers, female, in marketing, in development, because father said, no, 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 pad liya, bas ho gaya. She was so good in her accounts that she could have given a run for money to anybody. Anybody. I lost her. I couldn't do. I went to her home, tried changing a mindset of her parents, just lost her. Another lady I lost because she had her baby, and I told her, I'll give you flexi hours. I'll give you laptop connection. Please work from home. No, 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 no. My mother-in-law is saying now you have to take care of the child. I tried talking to the husband. I tried talking to husband, was himself an engineer. They had a love marriage. But I lost. They said no. हम सरकारी नौकरी करवा देंगे बाद में. Like, so these are the small examples. So I think we need to start from the school itself, not the college, not the technical or vocational colleges, because skilling has to come from the day zero. The men have to know that they have to be supportive. Some good gentlemen like you are there, and you keep talking about it, and things are changing. What my mother went through or my grandmother went through, I'm not going through that. Every generation has their own ups and downs. But sometimes I feel I'm fighting the same fight which they fought. Now my garment is different. That makes it very difficult. And I don't understand that why we are running around in circles. So, family support, social structure. People make fun of us. They said, औरत औरत की दोस्त नहीं हो सकती. And I find it so degrading. Why is it so? People say that we carry, sometimes in business, people tell me, madam, आप ना बड़ी emotional हो जाती हैं. You carry your heart on your sleeves. So what? I carry my heart on my sleeve. That is my way of working, my style of working. I don't have to be a man to do work. I just have to be a good business sense person to do business or do my job. So, so what? We are till date, when I go for a negotiation, actually my client is looking at the guy next to me, not at me. before I used to get very angry. Now I just sit quietly and enjoy the entire process, because at the end of the day, I am the deciding person. So you can look wherever you want to look, you can talk to whoever you want to talk to. So things are better, but they're not where they should be or where we would want to be. But I'm very optimistic because I see the new generation. I met with a couple of guys who are stay home father, and wife is working and they're staying home, and I appreciate it so much. And I see females in today's generation, they know what they want. It's just that I feel we don't have to be a man to what we want and achieve it. We can do it our way. No way is better. Keep innovating. So yes, we should do that. And also, let's not judge the book by its cover. You're wearing a suit, or you're wearing an Indian cloth, or you're wearing. I remember once a lady walked into the room. She was looking really nice, wearing a sari, and she was like, "Madam, professional होके आना चाहिए था आपको." And I was like, "Really?" And I thought that was really condescending. But things have changed. I see that has changed. That has come a long way. So nobody now looks at your clothes. But then the fact is, if a girl or a woman is looking nice, she will not know much. Why? You have to look like I don't know, some alien creature to have your brains there in place. So all this is the mindset that we need to change. May not make sense as an entrepreneur, but it discourages a young girl who wants to start something new. For her, all this now gets very scary. We have come long way. We have learned from our failures, and we've been lucky to have the family support that we are talking about here. But imagine a person who wants to. And I really appreciate my predecessors saying we need to have laws in place, because females need to get their bank need to look at their proposals and projects and approve them, and they need to get the financial support they should be able to, because that sometimes gets very difficult for a woman. So that's something. So yes, the access to finance, access to marketing, because I'll be how do I put it? People say that men uh, bind with each other, they do networking over a smoke or a drink. Now, what does a female do? How does she get into this networking business? I realized long back, if this is a man's world, join them. So I used to stand next to them. I used to, I never, my father was very supportive. My mother was very supportive. So I was lucky to have a family. I used to come late in the night at 2, 3 o'clock. My father only had one condition: driver रखो साथ में, अकेले नहीं जाने दो. मैं ठीक है, not a problem. So I sat with them. They drank. I made sure, I was the person who made sure that they don't fall down. So I did my networking like that. And I tell girls, come out. See, if we can fight with our parents, or if we can argue with the society for stuff like whom we want to get married to and stuff like that, why not for our careers? If this is what we need to do, we need to do. So, and I would really like women to actually born, because when women born, now people say इन्होंने क्या बात करनी है, बच्चों की करेंगे, खाने की करेंगे, husband की करेंगे, mother-in-law की करेंगे. Now the fact is, we will talk what we want to talk. Who are you to tell us what we want to talk? If this is what we want to talk, we will talk this. And one more thing, from my personal experience, I realized I can't perfect everything. I can't be everywhere at the same time. I can't be at my home looking after my children, looking after the business. There are some trade-offs I will have to do. And if people are going to point fingers at me and say, oh, you're not a good person, I never bothered. It's my choice. I'll decide. I'll prioritize. Because if I will try to perfect everything, because it is said, आप औरत है, आप आदमियों से बेहतर है, ये भी एक तरीका है। आप आदमियों से बेहतर है, आप मल्टीटास्किंग कर सकती हैं, आदमी मल्टीटास्किंग नहीं कर सकता। रियली? I am a doctor by profession. I shifted gears and entered engineering. My father opened this factory. I shifted here. I don't believe this. God gave us everything the same, except for few things. So I don't believe this. When we are learning, you learn. So people don't put us on a pedestal. We are not here to be put. I always say, please, I don't want to be pedestal. I don't want to be a Devi. I want to be a human being. I will make mistakes. I will learn from my mistakes. And I will prioritize. Some things for family I will leave. Some things for business I will leave. So I will decide based on the urgency or the demand factor. So one thing that females have to learn, please don't think you're perfect. Don't stress yourself out. Just do your job and love your job. So I learned all this while took me a long time. Honestly, I wish somebody could have written a book or told me some things before I joined. It would have been better, but then we all learn from our mistakes. So what I want this thing that I would request all associations, even PhD chambers, thanks for calling me today. It's my favorite topic. I have females working on my shop floor. My men did not like it. I told them, no, they can run press, put them there. So I have females working on the shop floor. I have females working at areas where people think, oh, apart from assembly line, they can't do it. I say, no, they can do it. Try. I am not getting female good, and like they said, they're good at communication and direct marketing. My problem is I want somebody who can take the guts and say, I will go out and get business. They get little scared because uh, when the men overpower you, so then they get scared. I tell them, my girls, but till now I have not succeeded. I have a female who does behind the call marketing and business development, but not right there at their face. So I'm still working on that. So yes, we need skilling like any other person. Um, and we need to have it's better than what it was before, but now in post COVID, actually I agree with my predecessors, we have good opportunity because online marketing, online business is there, online transactions is there. So women can work from home and they can do a good job, but they need to be willing to do it because sometimes I feel that we give up because of whatever reasons, under pressure or something. So I want that. I don't want my women to give up. You have a problem, come and talk. We can always find a solution. And if we can't, then you do what you have to do because at the end of the day, it's your life. So that's, I think, from my side. I hope I have added value, and thank you again for having me here.
Thank you, Dr. Kaul. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And you are absolutely right that the change needs to be brought at the grassroots level. Then only we'll be able to see changes at the top in our mindset, in our thought process. Thank you so much once again. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Rajni Agarwal. She is the president of the Federation of Indian Women Entrepreneurs, and they are doing a wonderful job promoting the entrepreneurs across the country. The thousands new of young budding entrepreneurs, all women entrepreneurs, they are working to promote them. So I would request Dr. Rajni Agarwal to throw some light, to share her thoughts on how skilling the women across all sectors have helped shaping enterprises and helping them achieve target. Dr. Rajni Agarwal, for your thoughts on the subject, please.
Nasir, with permission, before she takes over, just a quick comment I wanted to make, perhaps as a to what Alka ji said. I want to share a personal experience. My mother herself was a working woman, and she started working in early 50s, just a few years after independence. And as children, we used to exchange notes. and she worked all her life, and as children, we used to exchange notes that, perhaps she was a far better mother and a wife than some of my other friends, who had their mothers as the homemakers. So I think, it's not that, women can't excel in both walks of life. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your thoughts, sir. Dr. Rajni Agarwal, please. Dr. Agarwal, we are not able to hear you.
Yeah. Now, can you hear, please? I unmuted
Yeah,
myself.
absolutely. Fine.
Okay.
It's much better.
Thank you very much. In fact, what Mr. Jayant Krishna just now said, that he had seen his mother. So do I recollect that when we were young, my mother used to be very active with Congress, because after 1947, I think Mahatma Gandhi had really, he was the prime mover, bringing out women for the social cause. And he said that all the struggle and the social reforms are possible if women is a part of it. And if you say that, Gandhiji also said that woman is the companion of man and gifted with equal mental capacities. She has the right to participate in the activities of men. But unfortunately, Gandhiji also said that I do not believe in women working for living or understanding commercial enterprises. So it is very controversial, but at the same time, I feel that this is the mindset in our country of all men. And I will not only blame men, I will say it is also women, because we are so much tuned, we are so much mentally, processed with the thinking that our horizon, our workplace is only in times to come, that she being a multitasker, she can take up any kind of responsibility, whether it's outside home, whether it is inside, or whether it is any other responsibility. In fact, she's also able to advise her husband on her business, on his business. She's become an advisor to so many people in the family, to children, to everybody. So women has that neck of really understanding thing. I feel, as earlier speakers have said, that women is really, endowed with some good qualities which men do not have. So keeping that in mind, I always feel that women have, she has really walked through a very, very long way. This everyone feels that of men coming out and working, and I'm sure in times to come, we have much better future. Now, I would, since we are talking about skilling, I would like to say that all the time when the government of India, or whether any of the other forum or the researchers, they talk about, they always mix up the three levels, I feel. One level is grassroots level, where women are into agriculture and they are labor and they are doing all other odd jobs. The second level is where women are looking after homes. They are taking care of children, but they also want to come out and start something of their own. Now, the third is where women have the courage, women have the facility, women have the support of the family to start their enterprises. So these three are entirely different sections of society. And to my wonder, whenever even the bankers talk, they always talk in totality about the finance given to women. The lending to women is always covered with whatever is gone into agriculture, whatever has gone to some other sections of working women. But we never bifurcate women entrepreneurs as such, women who want to be entrepreneur, who want real skilling, and women at grassroots level. So I feel that tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities have a lot of potential where women really would like to come up. They need a lot of training, they need a lot of encouragement, they need a lot of support, and they can become a part of the mainstream of society, the economic mainstream of society. Now, enterprise. I became an entrepreneur when my children were about, I think, 3-4 years. And it was really difficult situation. But the mindset, as I said, was so poor that wherever I'll make a call or I'll try and have a visit, because I was manufacturing television and components, which was a rare thing in the country, that women started manufacturing television and supplying components in television to some big manufacturers like Nikitasha or Uptron and others. Now, when I will talk to them on telephone, they will always say, do you have some male counterpart in your office whom we can talk to? Because they always had a feeling that decision making can only be done by the male counterpart, not by the female. So this was one thing which mindset continues, and it's a really great thing that in the process, last 1 decade had shown a real change, and I'm very happy that this change is going to be still better, and it is really going to have much more opportunities for women. After finishing all that thing, you know, I'm talking about the platform which I joined. And this platform, Federation of Indian Women Entrepreneurs, gave me an opportunity to do networking. It's very difficult. Well, I think Ms. Kaul is a very fortunate lady, fortunate woman, I will say, whose parents supported her to an extent that she can come back at 3 in the morning. But most of the parents, however their girls are very strong, they are full of energy, they are full of courage, they do not want, the husbands do not want that the women should be out from the house for such a long time. So for that purpose, I think it's very important to join some kind of a platform. This platform gives you an opportunity for networking. For us, it's not possible for women to really go and join in some club where all women are having their drinks and everything. Yes, we can sit there till 9 o'clock, till 10 o'clock. When the embassies have the programs, we do go, and we come back, say by 10 or something, or maybe 11, if the programs are there. But beyond that, in a routine basis, it's not possible. So the platforms are the best thing. The like PhD Chamber of Commerce, like Federation of Indian Women Entrepreneurs, and there are so many others. And I tell you, these platforms teach you all these skills which you are otherwise not able to understand. Because networking is possible when you are talking to your colleagues, when you're talking to your friends, the similar kind of problems which she has gone through or you are going through, she has already experienced it, and then she can share it with you. So these platforms are very important. And through this, then I had the courage to really go and an item and a product like making televisions, and then going into, you know, because I had done my MA in English from BITS Pilani, but people will not go into the detail of that. As soon as they hear that, okay, you are from BITS Pilani, she must be an engineer. Well, I took the advantage of that, and I had the people who engineers employed with me, and I used to understand from them and talk to people. And that's why, you know, I mean, woman knows her style of how she can win, how she can get through her subject, how she can get through her market. She knows once you are a part of it, you understand how you have to steer through. You are able to find out your ways, you are able to find out your sources, and you are able to find out your other routes to achieve the success. Now, they're very difficult process also. In skilling, we at the Federation, we had done about 10,000 skilling in about 3 states, in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, and in Orissa. And what I have experienced that when you teach women, like they had done, we had done on, of course, IT, we had done on textile, we had done the training on uh, security guards. There were a big number of women who were very tall, very good height and body, which were very suitable for security jobs. So we took that group in Rajasthan. The woman of Rajasthan is really tall and she can take up the security work. Of course, that was a good process the government of India has introduced and we had gone through it. But 25% of them, like from textile, from IT, they did take up entrepreneurship, but the rest of it, they could not. Because if you take a training, again, the problem is looking after your family, looking after your responsibilities and other thing. And the mindset that you cannot take up the night duties for women, it becomes very difficult. This is one thing. Now, in the Federation, we also do training of, skill training of different products, depending on the requirement. The vocation in a specific sectors could be available, like it could be woodwork, matting, baskets, basket weaving, and pottery and packaging, handicraft, and so many. Apart from that, I found one very important thing, especially a woman entrepreneur of the mainstream of economy, what she requires. Once you are on a small scale, you want to graduate to large scale. The ones who are into micro, they want to graduate to small. And that's the biggest gap. And that gap is there because there is nobody to do the hand holding. There is nobody to guide it. Even the organizations are not in a position to do that. In fact, the last meeting, the budget meeting in 2019, I was a part of the pre-budget meeting, and when I told the minister, finance minister, said, this was my point of view, and this is what all my members thought it's a very wonderful idea. I said, why can't we ask all our big icons of the business groups, like Bajaj, like Mr. Tata, and so many others, we have, I mean, a big number. They are successful entrepreneurs that they create a committee, they make a group where, whether it's men or women, they can do hand-holding of everybody and they can help them grow from small to large and from micro to small. Well, this is something, you know, anybody who has gained so much from this society has the responsibility to give it back to them. This is what I feel. And I think this is the best way that we can give back to the society. Why we are not able to grow in numbers? You see China, you see other countries. When they talk of micro, their micro is so big. Of course, we have changed our definition, but I still doubt that so many people have come into that level of micro and small. We are still small of the old time small. So the point is that we need to have hand-holding. It's very important. Apart from skilling, the skilling also comes from the exposure. You know, I have taken a skilling. Suppose, for example, I have taken a training, but there is no exposure. So my mental abilities will never grow. So it's very important to have the exposure. And the exposure is possible when I talk to a better person than what I am. And that person talks to is still better than what the other person is. So what we need is exposure is very important, and says, so nice of PhD Chamber of Commerce to invite me on this platform. I'm really thankful to them that we as different platforms should work towards a goal. Of course, we are looking after the interest of our members, but our goal should be that how entrepreneurship in this country could be evolved in a different manner in this digitization, and how we can be still better than China. How can we be still better than US? Because we have that potential. We have that whatever ingredients required in an entrepreneur to grow. So my request is that I invite some of the senior people of PhD chambers to be a part of that hand-holding committee, which we are planning to start very soon. amongst the women, we have made some selection, and I will request you to please suggest some of the people who can come and be a part of that, so that the skilling can be really helpful. I'm talking all practical things, please. I'm not talking because all the other things have been talked by different people, all different, details have been given. So I know that we all know that 13.5% is women entrepreneurs and all those things. We all know about it. So I do not want to repeat, and I'm just talking about these things, that please come forward and help all the entrepreneurs, being it women, be it men, to forward in their businesses, and they get the help of hand-holding, help of support, help of ideas, help of financial, financial dancing, how to get the venture capital, how to get the angel investor. So these are the things where we require a lot of hand-holding and a lot of support. And this is what I want to say. And thank you once again. Thank you very much. Please think about it. And I'll request Mr. Nasir to give me a call sometime or send me a mail that these are the few people who have really got interested and are coming forward to the idea which I have just now given to all of you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal. We'll certainly come back to you on this. And you are right that hand-holding and consistent learning, these are the important factors, either it be women entrepreneurs or men entrepreneurs. You are right, absolutely right. Now we would like to invite Ms. Aparna Dev, who is the ambassador for Vestige Marketing Private Limited, to share her thoughts on how the skilling need of the women entrepreneurs, which has been changing over times, and how has it helped the women entrepreneurs, their skilling needs, to make a successful venture. Ms. Aparna Dev.
Very good morning to Madam Neha Khare and all the eminent panelists and dignitaries of this event. And I thank Direct Marketing Committee, Skill and Entrepreneurship Development Committee, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for having me here on this forum. My name is Aparna Dev. जैसे कि आपने सुना, yes, I am Vestige Ambassador. मैंने डायरेक्ट सेलिंग को ज्वाइन किया 1996 में, जब डायरेक्ट सेलिंग जस्ट इंडिया में आई ही थी. And I really feel blessed कि मैंने इसको as a serious career लिया. Today I am financially independent और मैं अपनी जिंदगी को अपने शर्तों पे जी पा रही. सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, आज अगर हम देखें, हजारों में मैं नहीं बोलूंगी बल्कि लाखों में ऐसी महिलाएं हैं जो डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग के करके आज आत्मनिर्भर बन चुकी हैं. एंड आप सब जानते हैं इस कहावत को, हमने बहुत बारी सुना है कि empowering women is empowering nation. And direct marketing has a major role to play in the growth story of India. यहाँ पे चाहे मैं मेक इन इंडिया अभियान की बात करूं, चाहे स्किल इंडिया की बात करूं, चाहे मैं आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करूं, डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग इज अ की प्लेयर इन दिस. और ये डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग कंपनीज कैसे कर रही हैं एंड वुमेन का रोल इसमें क्या है, स्पेशली कोविड में, मैं आगे चल करके आप लोगों के साथ बात करूंगी. जैसे कि हम सब जानते हैं कि ट्रेंड बदल रहा है. आज की तारीख में लोगों के थॉट प्रोसेसेस बदल रहे हैं. पेरेंट्स अपने बेटियों को पढ़ा रही हैं, एनकरेज कर रही हैं एक अच्छा करियर बिल्ड करने में, ताकि आगे चल करके वो फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट रहे. लेकिन दुख की बात यह है कि आज भी बहुत सारी ऐसी फीमेल्स हैं, नॉट सो एजुकेटेड की मैं बात करूं, चाहे मैं एजुकेटेड क्लास की बात करूं, देयर आर ह्यूज नंबर ऑफ फीमेल्स जो आज भी डिपेंडेंट हैं ऑन द मेल मेंबर्स ऑफ देयर फैमिली. चाहे वो अपने ब्रदर के ऊपर डिपेंड करें, चाहे वो अपने हस्बैंड के ऊपर डिपेंड करें, चाहे वो अपने फादर के ऊपर डिपेंड करें फॉर देयर नीड्स एंड फाइनेंसेस. एंड मुझे खुशी है इस बात को कहते हुए कि डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग ने इस ह्यूज अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड पोटेंशियल को टैप किया एंड वुमेन को एम्पावर कर रहे हैं एंड आत्मनिर्भर बना रहे हैं. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. एंड यहाँ पे अगर मैं बात करूं वर्ल्ड वाइड फिगर्स की, अगर मैं बात करूं, तो मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि जितने भी टोटल नंबर ऑफ डायरेक्ट सेलर्स है उसमें मैक्सिमम फीमेल्स पाई जा रही हैं. And why so? I mean, why women are the main driving force in this industry? उसके ऊपर मैं बात करना चाहूंगी. फर्स्ट कि वुमेन को ये बिजनेस मॉडल परफेक्टली सूट करता है बिकॉज वो अपने वर्किंग आवर्स चूज कर सकते हैं, वो अपने घर से काम कर सकते हैं. एंड सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है कि यहाँ पे इस प्लेटफॉर्म के अंदर जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके कोई खास एजुकेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन होनी चाहिए, कोई प्रायर नॉलेज एंड एक्सपीरियंस होनी चाहिए. बहुत कम इन्वेस्टमेंट में कोई भी महिला इस बिजनेस को स्टार्ट कर सकती है. और उससे भी बढ़कर के मैं कहूँ कि लेडीज के अंदर वो इनबिल्ट टैलेंट है जो इस बिजनेस की नीड है, क्योंकि ये बिजनेस जो है रिलेशन के ऊपर बेस्ड है. रिलेशन बिल्डिंग के अंदर महिलाएं एक्सपर्ट हैं. और आगे चल करके मैं एक और बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर मैं यहाँ पे मेंशन करना चाहूंगी कि क्यों आज की तारीख में महिलाएं आगे बढ़ करके आ रही हैं, बिकॉज वो इस बिजनेस मॉडल को बहुत अच्छे से समझ पा रहे हैं, डायरेक्ट सेलिंग कॉन्सेप्ट को बहुत अच्छे से समझ पा रहे हैं. क्योंकि आप सब जानते हैं कि जितने भी हमारी डेली नीड की प्रोडक्ट्स हम लोग यूज करते हैं अपने घरों में, चाहे वो पर्सनल केयर के प्रोडक्ट्स हो, कंज्यूमेबल हो, चाहे वो स्किन केयर कलर कॉस्मेटिक्स हो, चाहे वो हेल्थ के प्रोडक्ट्स हो, मैक्सिमम केसेस में हम देखते हैं कि महिलाएं जो है वो इन प्रोडक्ट्स की खरीदारी करती हैं. और जब ये जो बिजनेस मॉडल है जब उनके समझ में आती है कि जस्ट बाय शिफ्टिंग द बाइंग हैबिट, जस्ट फ्रॉम शिफ्टिंग फ्रॉम शॉप टू डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग कॉन्सेप्ट, अगर वो अपनी खरीदारी इस सिस्टम से करते हैं तो इस खरीदारी से ही उनका एक सोर्स ऑफ इनकम जनरेट होता है. ये एक बहुत बड़ा ड्राइविंग फोर्स है फॉर फीमेल्स टू कम फॉरवर्ड एंड जॉइन दिस इंडस्ट्री. नाउ how direct marketing is helping in the empowerment of women. Yes, direct marketing companies जो है एक बहुत अच्छे strong and powerful education system से महिलाओं को educate कर पा रही है, empower कर पा रही है, उनके skills के ऊपर काम कर पा रही है. चाहे मैं soft skills की बात करूं, चाहे मैं technical skills की बात करूं, बहुत सारे trainings and workshops organize किए जाते हैं to train the females. सिंपल महिलाएं हैं जो गांव से भी बिलोंग करती हैं, ऐसी महिलाएं हैं, उनकी खास क्वालिफिकेशंस नहीं है, ऐसी महिलाएं हैं. तो बहुत सारे ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स एंड वर्कशॉप्स ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाता है फॉर स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट प्रोग्राम्स यहाँ पे की जाती हैं थ्रू आउट द लेंथ एंड ब्रेथ ऑफ द कंट्री. एंड बहुत बड़ी संख्या में महिलाएं पार्टिसिपेट करती हैं. और जब इतनी सारे चीजें फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द स्किल्स, मैं बोलूंगी महिलाओं के स्किल्स के ऊपर इतना काम किया जाता है तो एक कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल बढ़ता है. कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल बढ़ता है, एक कैन डू एटीट्यूड उनके अंदर आती है. और जब कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ एक पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट के साथ महिलाएं काम करती हैं तो रिजल्ट्स भी बहुत अच्छे से आते हैं और वो अपने बिजनेस को बहुत अच्छे से बिल्ड कर पाती हैं. एंड आगे चल करके ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वो बहुत अच्छे से बिजनेस वुमेन बनती है एंड फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट बनती है. अगर मैं कोविड की बात करूं तो दिस इज वन इंडस्ट्री जो लीस्ट अफेक्टेड इंडस्ट्री है एज कंपेयर टू अदर सेक्टर्स. यहाँ पे मैं कुछ पॉइंट्स मेंशन करना चाहूंगी. लाइक नेचर ऑफ वर्क बदला, लोग ऑफलाइन से ऑनलाइन एक्टिविटीज के अंदर आ गए. मैं तो आश्चर्य रह गई ये देख करके कि जो सिंपल हाउसवाइफ्स हैं, जो इवन फ्रॉम वुमेन फ्रॉम विलेजेस, उन्होंने टेक्नोलॉजी को इस्तेमाल करना सीखा. ऑनलाइन ऑर्डरिंग होती रही, ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशंस होती रही, ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन कंटिन्यूड रही. हमारे जितने भी ट्रेनिंग्स, वर्कशॉप्स, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट प्रोग्राम्स, उसकी संख्या बल्कि और ज्यादा बढ़ गई, रीच बढ़ गया. बिकॉज ऑफलाइन में जब हम काम कर रहे थे तो यस काम हो रहा था, लेकिन ऑनलाइन से रीच ज्यादा बढ़ गई. तो ये एक अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है. एंड ये सारी एक्टिविटीज तो चलती रही, लेकिन साथ में मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि इस बिजनेस के अंदर स्टेबिलिटी ड्यूरिंग दिस कोविड पीरियड ऑल्सो, ये स्टेबिलिटी और ग्रोथ क्यों मेंटेन रही? बिकॉज the nature of the products of the direct marketing companies, ये बहुत बड़ा रोल इसने प्ले करा है during this COVID period, because most of the direct marketing companies are dealing with basic daily need products, essential products मैं बोलूंगी। और साथ ही साथ क्योंकि कोरोना के करके बहुत सारे अवेयरनेस हमारी तरफ से भी क्रिएट करी गई, हेल्थ अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम्स कराए जा चुके हैं और कराए जा रहे हैं रेगुलरली, जैसे कि अवेयरनेस बढ़ी है लोगों के अंदर, हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इट इज फॉर देम टू स्ट्रेंथन देयर इम्यूनिटी। तो इम्यूनिटी के जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, हमारे इम्यूनिटी बूस्ट के जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, वो लोग समझ रहे थे और लोग अपने परचेजेस कर रहे थे, न सिर्फ अपने लिए बल्कि अपने डियर एंड डियर वंस को भी वो एजुकेट कर रहे थे और उनके लिए भी प्रोडक्ट्स परचेज हो रहा था। तो डिमांड्स बनी रही, चाहे वो एसेंशियल आइटम्स की मैं बोलूं, चाहे वो हेल्थ सप्लीमेंट्स की मैं बात करूं, डिमांड बनी रही। एंड हमारी डिलीवरीज भी बहुत अच्छे से हुई, टाइमली डिलीवरीज मिली लोगों को बिकॉज ऑफ द एसेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स। एक बहुत बड़ी बात मैं यहाँ पे मेंशन करना चाहूंगी कि सारी चीजें हो रही थी, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात है कि पे आउट्स जो है वो टाइमली सबको मिली, डॉट ऑन टाइम लोगों के बैंक अकाउंट्स में उनके बोनसेस थे। अनलाइक अदर सेक्टर्स, चाहे मैं एविएशन इंडस्ट्री की बात करूं, चाहे मैं होटल इंडस्ट्री की बात करूं, चाहे मैं टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री की बात करूं, ऐसे बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स हैं जो पूरी तरीके से अफेक्टेड हुए और वो कोरोना में अपने आप को एडजस्ट नहीं कर पाए। लोगों की नौकरियां गई, लोगों की तनख्वाहें कटती जा रही थी। ऐसे सिचुएशन में डायरेक्ट सेलर्स के पे आउट्स बिल्कुल टाइम से आ रहे थे, और इस चीज को देखते हुए जितने भी और बहुत सारे लोग जो अभी तक डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के साथ एसोसिएटेड नहीं थे, उनका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल बढ़ा, उनका बिलीफ लेवल बढ़ा, उनका भरोसा और बढ़ा डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के ऊपर। और पिछले एक साल में मार्च 2020 से लेकर के अभी मार्च 21 की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, बहुत बड़े तादाद में लोग जुड़े in direct selling because they could sense the stability, growth and security here of this industry. And खास करके मैं यहाँ पे बताना चाहूंगी कि महिलाएं बहुत बड़ी तादाद में बढ़ती आई, एंड इस कोविड की सिचुएशन ने महिलाओं को आई थिंक उनको अवेकन किया। आज वो समझ पा रही हैं कि उनको फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट होना क्यों जरूरी है, वो बढ़ के बाहर आ रही हैं, वो अपने आप एसोसिएटेड कर रही हैं डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के साथ ताकि वो काम कर पाए और अपने परिवार को फाइनेंशियली सपोर्ट कर पाए इस इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस के अंदर। और मैं ये मानती हूँ कि जब महिलाएं डिसीजंस लेती हैं तो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग डिसीजंस लेती हैं, बहुत इमोशनल डिसीजंस लेती हैं, एंड साथ ही साथ अगर वो चाहे तो बहुत प्रोफेशनली काम करती हैं, बड़े बड़ों को पीछे छोड़ सकती हैं। और मेरा ये मानना है कि जब ये जागरूकता महिलाओं के अंदर आ रही है कि उनको आत्मनिर्भर बनना है, इससे बढ़ के और क्या बात हो सकती है। क्योंकि मैं एक चीज मानती हूँ कि जिस देश की महिलाएं आत्मनिर्भर है वो देश अपने आप आत्मनिर्भर हो जाता है। तो पोस्ट कोविड की मैं अगर बात करूं तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टू सी न्यू इंडिया, स्ट्रॉन्गर इंडिया, मोर पावरफुल इंडिया, हेल्दी एंड वेल्दी इंडिया। बट जाते जाते मैं एक बात में कहना चाहूंगी, एक आस्क है फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कि अगर लॉज बन जाते हैं फॉर डायरेक्ट सेलिंग तो बहुत सारे फ्लाई बाय नाइट ऑपरेटर्स जो है वो खत्म हो जाएंगे और जेन्युइन डायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग कंपनीज को मौका मिलेगा और तेजी से ग्रो करने का, लोगों का फेथ, लोगों का विश्वास और बढ़ेगा इस इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर, एंड लोगों को एक प्रोटेक्टिव एनवायरनमेंट मिलेगा काम करने का। ये एक बहुत बड़ी बात हो सकती है। और जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि महिलाएं जो बढ़ करके आ रही हैं डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के अंदर अपना योगदान दे रही हैं, तो इसमें अगर एक लॉ आ जाता है, प्रोटेक्टिव एनवायरनमेंट मिल जाती है, तो जब महिलाएं काम करेंगी तो जाहिर सी बात है हर घर में बाइंग पावर बढ़ेगी, पर कैपिटल इनकम बढ़ेगा, और जब पर कैपिटल इनकम बढ़ेगी परिवार में तो डेफिनेटली जीडीपी में भी बहुत बड़ा उछाल दिखेगा। ऑलरेडी वी आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग इन अ बिग वे, बट पोस्ट कोविड में अगर बहुत सारी हमारे को ऐसे फैसिलिटीज मिल जाती हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा ग्रोथ होगा डायरेक्ट सेलिंग के टर्नओवर में, which is definitely contribute even more towards the GDP of India, और इससे हमारी इकोनॉमी बहुत तेजी से आगे बढ़ सकती है. With this, I would like to end my talk here. Thank you so much, everyone, for the patient hearing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Aparna Dev. I think it's been a very, very interesting session listening to the three women entrepreneurs giving very, very different perspectives, starting with skilling to be done or to be really started from the elementary level, schooling, maybe college, and not really at the graduation or post-graduation level, or once the women start working to Dr. Rajni Agarwal saying, join the movement and let's handhold together and moving further. And of course, we heard Ms. Aparna Dev also giving a direct perspective of what women have been doing and have been able to achieve with the direct selling industry. So one of the things which we are trying to drive at is, how can skilling be recognized? How can the industry be recognized? Ms. Aparna, they've talked about the fact that this particular industry needs framing of laws. But what we also want to do here today is take the inputs from our chief guest today, Ms. Nidhi Khare, on how skilling of the direct selling industry can be actually formalized and how we can actually make this initiative of ours a very concrete landmark or a concrete step towards that. So with this, I'd like to invite our chief guest for today, Ms. Nidhi Khare, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Welfare, Government of India, to kindly share her thoughts. Ma'am, I must thank you for a very, very patient listening to all our industry and trade speakers. Over to you, madam. I'll just check in case she's having a technical problem. Just give me a moment, please. Madam Nidhi Khare, if you're there, kindly try and switch off your mic, please. We are not able to hear you.
Kindly unmute your mic, madam.
Just trying to get in touch with her. Kindly be patient. Thank you very much.
Just a request to PhD Chambers, if I may say anything.
Yes, Madam Call, you'd like to say something?
Yeah, I have a request. I see some great men here, and they actually can be your brand ambassadors for promoting women entrepreneurship, because we have a very misguided aspect of machoism and stuff like that from the ads and the serials and the movies that we see. People, the young ones, really get influential. All of us have been influenced by somebody or the other. And trust me, parents are the least influential. You might listen to your uncles and aunts, but not your parents, because you're at that stage. And so, you have such articulated men here, and they're really good. So maybe if they can be the brand ambassadors for this topic, it would really, really, really help in that.
Alkaji, if I may just respond to you, I'm Pradeep Multani here.
Hanji sir, namaskar.
Namaskar. It is wonderful to hear what you are saying. Let me just say, in our PhD chambers, we've got outstanding role models. Our former president is Sushma Balia ji. She was the only child of Mr. Satyapal of the APJ group.
Correct. Very true.
Okay, and she is a absolutely outstanding lady. And today their group turnover, APJ schools are there in, I don't know how many branches they have. They have a pharma unit. I mean, she's a dynamic lady. So we have got fantastic ladies amidst us. That is one. Number two, let me tell you my own case. I've got 2 granddaughters.
Wow.
I have 2 sons, and each one of them has 1 daughter. And both of them are saying that we will not have a second child.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I'm in all of us, we've got wonderful people going. All we need to do is ensure there should be no crimes against women.
Correct.
And I personally, I mean, there are so many men here, they might get upset with me. I firmly believe that a lady with the same qualification will go 10 times further. And today's webinar has been specifically focused because Mr. Gautam Bali and Mr. Ajay Khanna are both dynamic personalities.
I can see that.
And one strongly feels the need of the hour is skill development. And there could be nothing better where we can generate maximum employment in direct marketing. And both these companies are very ethical companies. They're good companies. They're outstanding companies with wonderful track record. So we are with you. Whatever you say, we are always with you. Alkaji, one highly respects you.
And I have to add, Ms. Balia's son is the most gentle person I have come across. I have had the opportunity of working with him, and he's a great guy. So he's really, really good. And the kind of respect and humbleness he has, Mrs. Burlia has really actually made sure that, she does a better job at making women safe and more appreciated.
एब्सोल्युटली एब्सोल्युटली आपने शायद आदित्य के साथ डील करा है, आप निशान से भी मिलिए, उनकी बेटी का नाम भूल रहा हूँ, नेहा से भी मिलिए. दे आर ऑल आउटस्टैंडिंग, फैंटास्टिक.
Yeah, Miss Nidhi Khare is just joining us.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for being back with us.
Actually, I had some urgent call to.
If you could kindly unmute yourself, ma'am. You're currently
I have
muted.
unmuted.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Can I hear? All right. So I did hear a lot of women entrepreneurs also, and initially the vice president and ASG and the president. So good afternoon to all of you and all the delegates who are present here in this very thought-provoking webinar. I would agree with most of the women participants here that it is actually a little difficult when it comes to women, particularly as entrepreneurs, to make a difference. But I think a lot of things have changed. And as one participant was saying, that we have to actually look at the thing from, say, a perspective of the grassroots people who are working, women who are working, and or women who are skilling themselves to get a job, and also women who are simply in the art of making a business or in the art of making wealth. So my, as additional secretary in Department of Consumer Affairs, I've been looking at policy shifts that can help our people to tide over this very, very difficult time. And there are 2-3 things that I will basically come to before actually coming to the crux of the subject of this webinar. One thing is that with this COVID pandemic, there is going to be a very major, say, tectonic shift into the way we have been used to the world as it was. Things will change, and they will change, I'm sure, for the better. But then these are the changes that we have to now acknowledge in our daily part of the way businesses were getting conducted. Now, this means that, for example, we had never thought that so many people can actually work from home. So there is now a new sector and a new way into which we will be required to conduct our businesses from home, and which means that perhaps strengthening our home fronts so that they can work with equal efficiency as offices will be very, very necessary. The pandemic is not going to go away any soon, and although we might wish and hope that the trend gets buckled, the peak may arrive soon. As soon as possible. But by and large, it is bound to come again as a third wave or as a fourth wave. So we have to live with this reality. And that's how the businesses and the governance, everything needs to change and adapt to what is coming as a huge challenge. The second is that one of the speakers had mentioned about how the young population is going to be with India. So more and more young people are bound to be Indians. Now, this is something to be proud of, that they are an asset. But the thing is how skilled they are, whether we would still be exporting labor to all the countries in the world, or whether the young force can actually do something phenomenally good for the country and for the world at large. So this is something where gender equity also comes into play. So far, we've seen as traditional orthodox conservative societies anywhere in the world, Indian societies also reacted in the way we've seen. There have been struggles, both individually and collectively, for women to stick it out, to not give up, and to continue the path with a lot of, say, even humiliation or sacrifices, whatever be the case. But I think more and more women are now joining the workforce, and that gives me a lot of hope for the future, uh, for the future of the women entrepreneurs who are coming, because more and more people are going to be experimenting, and they would also feel the confidence to be able to do it. The third is that because of this pandemic, many traditional jobs, both for men and women, are going to simply go away. So is the country ready for this change, which is going to come, which we are going to experience in all the major countries and thereby also in our country? So will AI dominated or artificial intelligence dominated technologies, are they going to take the better of us? And if that happens, many of the traditional jobs which we are so comfortable at and which we have been trying to attain certain skills, will these skills be required at that point of time? And it is not very far in the future. Sadly, it is this decade which is going to see a very major change in the usage of technology, particularly artificial intelligence, and in very routine, very, all kinds of even skilled, say, jobs, which we think we have been kind of skilling our people with. So probably it will be half the cost of kind of skilling a person than kind of, using that technology for. So is that the challenge that we are ready to take in? This is something also which is very, very important. Now, from the government's perspective, ever since the pandemic has struck our country, the government has been taking manifold, say, action. In fact, when this government actually came to power, there was a lot of emphasis on ease of doing business. There was also a lot of emphasis on ensuring that women who didn't even have their separate individual bank accounts, through a scheme of Jan Dhan Yojana, the government started actually making efforts and trying to ensure that there is a financial signature for the women. So in many schemes and through this Jan Dhan Yojana, government very successfully ensured that every woman in the country has a bank account. And this has also triggered, independence for many women. It may, at least I can say for the rural based women, that it was unthinkable to even have, your own bank account. So in such terms, I think Jan Dhan Yojana had the contribution made this contribution of ensuring that our women have financial, say, independence, and they realize the power of having their own bank accounts. The second was with the ease of doing business, many archaic laws were simply changed, or they were dumped, or they were reviewed, so that they could actually provide the legal framework for a better understanding for the businesses and also for people to venture out in our country with good ideas and a better work plan. These policy initiatives ensured that right from 2014-15, there has been a very major impetus on, say, startups. So in the name of Startup India or Stand Up India and all kinds of, say, initiatives, this has been ensured that more and more youth gets allured towards these initiatives. And the youth should actually begin to feel its responsibility towards creation of wealth, creation of jobs, and starting new businesses which never existed or were never, say, which were never even contemplated before. So these are some of the initiatives which the government had started. Now, during the pandemic scenario, where government was faced with a very bitter challenge after the nationwide lockdown, how to start the business. One, how to actually provide stimulus to the businesses which had shut, how to provide a stability, a policy initiative which can assure entrepreneurs to try it out again. And we have now come up with a very overarching, say, principle of reducing compliance burden for our traders, manufacturers, importers, for our packers, all kinds of people, whether it is in the micro enterprises sector or the MSME sector. The idea is to not only provide financial stimulus to the sector, but also to provide a policy stimulus where we can trust the entrepreneurs and we can make it much easier for them to comply with most of the rules and acts of the land. Another very important thing which has been taken up in Atmanirbhar Bharat is how skilling and emphasis has been given to both skilling and micro enterprises. And as one of the speakers mentioned, that already a lot of, say, the presence of women has been very high in these enterprises. And in the Mudra Yojana and also PMNY, which was launched in April 2015, almost 68% of that were sanctioned to women entrepreneurs under the Mudra scheme since its inception. So this also shows that the government's view of enabling or say bringing an enabling environment for enterprises amongst say our citizens is basically three-layered. People who are at the grassroots, which are creating products, small products, people who are at the middle level where they are into trading, and people who are actually creating very big, say, enterprises, new enterprises for, say, millions of people. In all these initiatives, the effort has been to rope in the youngsters, throw them challenges of what the future holds for them, and also at the same time provide the gender equity. I also feel that different departments of late have been told to relook at their act and the rules and regulations. Go for simplification. Try to have, for example, we are having a single window for the enterprises, so that you can simply log into that. And at the back end, which department is doing your work, you need not neither come to know, nor you should kind of make efforts to have multiple applications being registered at different sites. So I'm sure government will be very shortly, it will be also coming out with a single window system. This is also going to help businesses grow faster at a much better speed, and also have the confidence that there should not be repetitive, auditing of the processes of entrepreneurs from different regulators. So the idea is that once the entrepreneurs have registered themselves, given these papers, different regulators who are supposed to regulate their activities can do so in a much more effective manner, with better speed, with greater transparency on both sides, and with a hassle-free environment, a more facilitating environment. Today's topic was also about the direct selling sector, and you'll be happy to know that Department of Consumer Affairs has been having a lot of discussion of all the stakeholders about the direct selling, the apparatus. And we've been able to, through the pandemic, we've been able to hold these consultations, very wide-ranging consultations with all the voluntary consumer groups, different organizations, even voluntary, the consumer activists, and also the direct selling associations. And for the first time in the country, we are going to prepare basically a rule for safeguarding consumer interest vis-a-vis the direct selling. So this is also going to be, we are all waiting that very soon it will be out. And once it is out, I think even the consumers will feel much more empowered to about this sector. And the direct sellers will also have a much better, platform to basically, project the sector's growth and their contribution to the nation's building in much solid manner. So these were the things that I wanted to share with you. The struggles and the challenges that the women and entrepreneurs have been facing are very, very, they have been brought out in a very pragmatic, real manner. And it was really very informative for me, particularly since I have no clue about how enterprises run. But it is something which reflects so much with our own struggle as, as administrators of the country. But I think I'm very, very hopeful and extremely positive about our country. The gender equity is very much to be seen And I think while we may be much criticizing about our society, when I meet foreigners and particularly people who come here and stay here, they are completely overwhelmed by the success of Indian women, and they are much overwhelmed that most Indian women have not left their tradition, or say their traditional outfits, or their say, I mean, जिसको कहा जाता है कि एक नारी सुलभ जो सौंदर्य है बिना उसे छोड़े, I think Indian women have made such a mark. So while we may introspect and we know that, yeah, there are so many things to be achieved even further from here, but let us not actually get into, the pitfalls which the Western women have done. They have become, so to say, soulless, in this pursuit to becoming, equal to man. They've lost many things, and they all have regrets about this. So I think the Indian women have a lot to say share, lot to kind of contribute, and to also, or maybe it is Asian women, whatever you may say. But there is something which is very beautiful about our journey, which has not given us broken homes, which has continued to remain in touch with nature, have a balanced view of the society and about your achievements, living harmoniously, not just with your family, but also your enterprises. So I think these are the things which we might, I mean, it might escape our say attention, but I think when it is viewed from a total stranger, they find it incredible. So with this, I really enjoyed hearing your conversation, and it was very, very encouraging. I feel we should be prepared for the future in a much better manner. This century belongs rightfully to India, and each one of us has a role to play in making things better for the future generations of our children, and to take this country forward. So with this, I thank all of you for giving me patience hearing, and I am always available to suggestions and to things that can be improved for our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, ma'am. Really, really, we are grateful. Excellent.
Thank you very much, madam, for your very, very encouraging and positive remarks, and actually bringing out very vitally those things which we really treasure today in India, and not only as a country, but as women of India and even women of Asia, bringing it out so clearly and explicitly. And I think a very, very intricate yet important point which you have made. And the specific points which you talked about, where how the government has facilitated and, mudra loans going as much as 68% to women is very, very heartening, and shows that, it's not only that the government is doing its bit, but also the women are coming forward vis-a-vis the two generations back, which way. And of course, I think the point on repetitive auditing, which is definitely a major concern for the industry, needs to be kind of also highlighted, which you did. Ma'am, the only thing which I'd like to say is that one of the objectives which we are trying to achieve through this particular webinar and all thoughts put together is also to see how a skilling council can be made for the direct selling industry, which may be really required to further boost the morale and the confidence of the women. And in fact, on the chat itself, right now I got a message from Miss Monica, that, she is from the Punjab University and she's working with 25 rural women. And she'd like, some kind of a training session, set up for these 25 women. So I think this can have a real cascading effect in form of a skilling council, which we can have of the direct selling industry, with the push and the support of the Ministry of Consumer Welfare being the nodal ministry for this particular sector. And Madam, who better than a woman herself who personifies what a woman can achieve in the government is what you did today, ma'am. And I think we've been truly elated by your thoughts. And with this request that please do engage PhD Chamber in your consultations which you are having with the direct selling industry, because now we have a dedicated sectoral committee on this, and we will be very willing to put forth our knowledge and our experience behind this with the efforts of the government. So, thank you, madam. And I know you've been a very, very patient listener. You had to just go off for a call. The message, my apologies, which you sent probably to the host did not reach me.
Yeah.
So my apologies. May I now request our co-chair of the Skill Development Committee to give his quick concluding remarks before I ask the lady of the Skill Council, the Skill Committee, Ms. Kadambari ji, to give a formal vote of thanks. Over to you, Atul ji.
Thank you very much, Nidhi. Just to put this in right perspective, there is already, you just mentioned about a council. There is already a council called RASI, which is the Retail Sector Skill Council.
Retail,
which
yes.
probably already covers this sector. And if it does not, it can very easily be aligned into that because they are doing a lot of online work. We have had a very exhaustive interaction about practical implementation and concepts about women's skilling, employment and entrepreneurship in various verticals. But in my concluding remarks, what I would like to do is refer to our own horticulture initiative in the hill state of Uttarakhand, where we have provided employment for over 1,200 days in the last 3 months. Surprisingly and very happily, out of which 500 women are 500 women work days have been incorporated. We found that unlike the men there, the women showed excellent entrepreneurial abilities. How? They made small groups of fellow women and started requesting us to give tasks on contract basis, where the men were always interested only in daily wages. Kaam kiya, le gaye, chale gaye. In the light of this, and also because we are a company in the skill ecosystem, we started taking numerous capacity development initiatives to train these women. And now we are expecting to see some more prominent business women coming up in this particular area. So apart from having access to more income, we found that these women found more recognition in the local community, and we are expecting now to provide almost 20K working day employment in the next 3 years, out of which 60% should be women. And even in our skilling company, more than 75% of the skilled women strength is women. And as a firm practitioner of gender equality, we are paying and treating women at par with men in both our businesses, horticulture or skilling. Finally, I hail what Ms. Alka Kaul said, and I realize what she says, and I assure him that I am one such father who already has a daughter. And the only thing that is important for me is the fact that she should carry a driver, which is for security reasons. You've obviously heard that very famous saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. However, our company and we and me as a father have believed that when you skill a man, you skill a man. But when you skill a woman, you skill a generation. So therefore, this is a very important aspect of our work. And at this stage, these are my concluding remarks, and I must thank Madam Khare for her specific speech and sharing her views with us. Over back to you, Mr. Sehgal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anand, for actually sharing those wonderful remarks. When you say specifically, when you skill a woman, you skill actually a generation. And it's so very true. So very true. So you have all the women.
In fact, I believe, Vivek, if we can take this as a motto or a logo or something like that, and start a program on this within the skill committee, it will be a great doing.
Sure. While we still emphasize that we do need, as the direct selling industry feels, separate skill council, because the needs of the direct selling industry is slightly different than that of the retailing. I'm sure Madam Khare will help us push that across. So over to you, Ms. Kadambari ji, for a formal vote of thanks. And we couldn't have really had so many women, more than so many women actually on this webinar. And of course, having the final heartfelt vote of thanks from the lady. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sehgal. And we had indeed a very fruitful, eclectic, and informative session. And on behalf of the PhD Chamber, I would like to thank the eminent panelists for their comprehensive address on a topic like this. And I thank the PhD leadership for their valuable remarks and support. I would like to express my very sincere, very special thanks to Ms. Nidhi Khare, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, for being with us today and addressing the participants. Madam, and I'm sure I speak for all of us present here, it has been such a privilege to listen to you, and your observations have been very invaluable, captivating, with a very balanced perspective. From a time when 100 years back, women had no right to even hold property. They had no legal right to hold either movable or immovable property. Finally, to now, when in 2005 and 2020, women have been given equal rights, at least on paper, we've come a long way. But the fact that even in independent India, this process took so long reveals the inherent lack of empowerment of women as a class historically, and the acute need for developing gender responsive strategies for empowerment and skill development for women. Laws and policies are sometimes framed without understanding the real challenges from the women perspective. And let me clarify, as a working woman, I can say that women don't need SOPs. They just need equality in perception and expectations. And besides gender equity in law, and as Madam Nidhi Khare pointed out, we are experiencing a tectonic policy shift brought about by the new work from home scenario during the pandemic. And the role of women in the new economic order will, of course, take a shift. And we are glad that our government, as Madam Khare pointed out, is already working towards building a policy stimulus geared towards the new situation. Some of us have also stressed on skills that can enable women to take care of home management and childcare. But as some of our women panelists, Dr. Alka Kaul, for example, stressed, you cannot expect a woman to be a superwoman doing everything with perception, with the perfection. You need to prioritize. And if we are to retain harmony that traditionally women may symbolize, the society and our families have to support, because we strengthen them. The process of empowerment is thus both individual and collective. And there is a requirement of a shift from small skills to women entrepreneurship at a community level. And I might cite the example of Bora community in Gujarat. When a few years back I was reading about them, they had set up community kitchens so that their women folk could be free of making food all the time and could concentrate on economic development, building up the economic strength of each of their families. So in today's time, skilling as opposed to mere education has indeed become of paramount importance, and these skills have to be relevant to the emerging economic environment at the global scale. And I'm confident that the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry will continue to work towards better and a stronger collaboration to make women as a class more self-independent, empowered, stronger. And once again, I thank all the panelists and the participants for their esteemed presence and inputs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Kadambari, for that hearty vote of thanks. I'd like to thank our leadership, our President, Senior Vice President, our Secretary General, PhD Chamber, Mr. Saurabh Sanyal, and the Chair and Co-Chairs for being here this morning, which is on way into the afternoon. We'd like to thank Vestige, our webinar sponsor, for extending the honors to make this possible. We thank you, Vestige, for the support. I also would like to thank my team, which has been working very aggressively on this, with Jatin Nagpal as well as Dr. Nasir Jamal to make this particular event happen. So thank you, team. Thank you, everyone. And have a nice day ahead. And be positive, but stay negative. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very well said.
तो सहगल जी, सहगल साहब,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
मेरे को तो कोविड दूसरी बार ही हो गया इंजेक्शन लगाने के बावजूद।
कोई बात नहीं, it will be mild, don't worry.
I know. In fact, during the conference only, I just got the report.
Oh, acha, now I see your message. Right. I've turned positive second time. So this is second time after the first shot itself.
ना, पहले हुआ था, उसके बाद फर्स्ट शॉट हुआ, उसके बाद हुआ।
आप बाहर बहुत घूम रहे होगे।
नहीं, not really, but हो गया।
But take care. Any indications, specific indications?
नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं, nothing अभी तक तो।
चलो, God bless you for that, and may it stay that way. And may it stay that way.
Thank you.
Please take care. God bless.